Hello everyone, I am Asha Best. Hope you all are doing well. Dear students, today I welcome you all in class 6 History, Kingdoms, Kings and Early Republic. This is the 6th chapter in your history book. So let's begin with this chapter. In this chapter, we'll understand what kind of kingdoms were there before 3000 years ago, how the kings were selected that time. We'll also talk about the early republics. Dear students, republic word explains that there is no rule of king or queen. There, the rule should be of common people. Selection of the rulers. Today, leaders or rulers are selected by direct voting system. In ancient India, some of the rajas were probably chosen by the Jana, the people. Today, through the direct voting system, we select our leaders, and from last 50 years, we are following the same thing. But do you have any query regarding how did men become rulers in the past? As I told you that some of the rulers were probably chosen by the Jana, the common people. But around 3000 years ago, we find some changes taking place in the ways in which Rajas were chosen. Some men now became recognized as Rajas by performing very big sacrifices. Some changes regarding that occurred around 3000 years ago. In that time, the kings used to perform Ashwamedh sacrifices and came to be recognized as Rajas. The Ashwamedha or horse sacrifice. The Ashwamedha or horse sacrifice was one such example of the ritual which was performed by the Rajas to become most powerful. A horse was let loose to wander freely and it was guarded by the Raja's men. While it moves in other territories, if the horse wandered into the kingdoms of other Rajas and they stopped it, they had to fight. If they allowed the horse to pass, it meant that they accepted that the Raja who wanted to perform the sacrifice was stronger than them. These Rajas were then invited to the sacrifice, which was performed by specially trained priests who were rewarded with gifts. The Raja who organized the sacrifice was recognized as being very powerful, and all those who came brought gifts for him. This was the ritual which was performed by king to show his power in other territories. The Raja was the central figure of this ritual. He often had special seat like a throne or a tiger skin. So this is the special feature about the Ashwamedha ritual which was performed by kings to show his power. Let's talk about Varnas. Later Vedic texts like Samveda, Yajurveda and Atharvaveda mentioned certain rules about the society. There were different groups in the society such as priests and warriors, farmers, herders, traders, craft persons and laborers. We have many books that were composed in North India, especially in the areas drained by the Ganga and Yamuna during this period. These books are often called later Vedic because they were composed after the Rig Veda, about which we learned in chapter number 5. There were several different groups in society at this time. These were known as the Varnas, priests and warriors, like I talked about all these people earlier also. some priests and warriors which were rich, as were some farmers and traders. If we compare from farmers and traders, these some of them were rich. Other including many herders, craft persons, laborers, fishing folk, and hunters and gatherers, these were poor. The priest divided people into different varnas or groups, you can say. Now these are called varnas. According to them, each varna had a different set of functions. They were assigned different tasks. They have to perform different functions. The first varna was named as the Brahmins. Brahmins were expected to teach Vedas to the rulers, as well as they were performing sacrifices. Not only the rulers, but Vedas were taught by these Brahmins to different students, and they were receiving gifts from the people those to whom they were teaching. In the second Varna, they fixed the rulers. These were also known as Kshatriya, and they were made to fight wars and to protect people, those who are living in their territory. In the third Varna, they put Vish, or you can say the Vaishya, and these people were farmers, herders, and traders. Both the Kshatriya and the Vaishya could perform sacrifices. These people were allowed to perform sacrifices. Varna hierarchy. The priest divided people into 4 groups called Varnas. Each Varna had different sets of functions. All these we discussed just in the previous slide. In the last Varna, they fixed the fourth and the last Varna, they fixed the Shudras. These were the people, those were divided and kept aside from the 3 groups which we discussed earlier. They could not perform any ritual. Often women were also grouped with the Shudras. Both women and Shudras were not allowed to study Vedas. This is the important thing which we discussed in chapter 5 also, that time women were not allowed to study Vedas. Including women, there were Shudra also. The fourth group of the Varnas, they were also not allowed to study Vedas. The priest also said that these groups were decided on the basis of their birth. By birth, they were given these groups of Varnas. For example, if one's father and mother were Brahmins, then the child of these parents ought to be a Brahmin. He need to read or study the Vedas. If someone gets birth in a untouchable family or Shudra family, he need to adopt the Shudra Varna. Many people did not accept the system of Varna by the Brahmins. They fought for their rights and did not accept the superiority of these priests. Now let's talk about Janpadas, the powerful kings who performed big sacrifices and later ruled larger territories termed as Janpadas. Term Janpada literally means foothold of a tribe. A Janpada could be a republic like Vajji or a monarchy like Magda. The Raja who performed these big sacrifices, later on they were recognized as being Rajas of Janpadas rather than the Janas. Archaeologists have excavated a number of settlements in these Janpadas, such as Purana Kila, which is now in Delhi, Hastinapur near Meerut, and Atranjikera near it. The last 2 are in Uttar Pradesh. they found that people in that time they lived in hut, they grew many crops as well as they reared animals. Crops like rice, wheat, barley, pulses, sugarcane, sesame, and mustard were grown that time. They also made earthen pots which were having color like red. One special type of pottery found in this site is known as the painted greyware. As is obvious from the name, these grey pots had painted designs, usually simple lines, and these lines were in geometrical patterns. So this is all about this part of this video, this chapter. We'll soon meet with the second part. Till then, take care and have a good day.